What's up, YouTube? Mr. Lemissy here, and today we're going to be talking about the Blessed Hammer Justice Paladin in Diablo 4. So we've done a Blessed Hammer Disciple that ran around with Evade. This one plays more into the Judgement caster style of the Hammerdin, so just a slightly different way. Pretty similar in power, maybe slightly weaker. But also feels pretty good. I mean, I just did a level 85 pit pretty easily. We had like 6-7 minutes left. And so I think with all the proper gearing and things a little bit better, getting my like glyphs fully leveled, we could get into the 90s with this character in the pit. Pretty solid. Again, will clear all of the contents very easily in the game and just be super strong. So let's take a look a little bit first at just the character. I'm just going to show you, like a 30 seconds, a minute of how it plays. And then we'll dive into the skills and stats and all the different pieces from there. So let's just get outside into the Helltide. So big piece, of course, is like, if you played Hammerdin before in D2 or anything, you're just going to be casting your hammers. Additionally, we are running the 3 auras here as well. So that is, just something that we can have in addition. And then we have the ultimate as well for just simple stuff. So does, in the billions of damage pretty easily right here. And we can cast that ultimate pretty often. And yeah, like I say, it just kind of moves around. And you're just casting Judgment on everybody, getting the Judgment explosions, and, casting hammers. And then you can always move faster with your rally and restore your faith. So very easy way to just melt everything and clean it all up. That's kind of the basics of the character. Let's dive into the skill tree. So within the skill tree, there's a couple options and ways you can run it. First, you actually can play with like Holy Bolt or with an advance where you're like wave dashing forward, or you're rushing into enemies like with Vanguard's Rush. You can play with that, or you can play Holy Bolt and have it bounce around and ricochet, if you would like to do that as well. Basically because this will allow you to spread Judgment if you want to do it in this manner. And you can use these as well for, again, some movement with advance or with just getting the Judgment. Because again, with the Oath of Judicator, your basic skills now apply Judgment. So you can use any basic skill if you would like to generate faith and then to put Judgment on everybody. We'll continue going over this Oath while we're here. Judgments can now be detonated by your core Judicator skills, dealing weapon damage in a small area and gaining their skill benefits. And then each time you judge an enemy, increase the damage they take up to 80% until they die. So you can just, you want to keep judging stuff, right? So going back to the skills, you can kind of pick whatever you want within that. And again, Holy Bolt could be nice, just having the ricochet as a way to quickly judge a bunch of stuff. We obviously have maxed out Blessed Hammer over here. Then we have enhanced it and gone into Shattering. You could also probably test out Mortar Combat. Mortars, hammers to the ground. But this just does it, and then they shatter. Right? They deal damage and shatter in 3 small explosions on impact. So you just get kind of this explosion all around. So kind of up to you. But I think Shattering Blow is best right there. So we've maxed that. And then we've gone Discipline for core skill damage, On Guard, and Riposte just to get blocking and armor. In the synergy or the auras, I'm running all 3 auras again. In the endgame, I feel like you're going to run all 3 auras on every build. So I'm running this Rite of Vengeance for crit strike damage, and then we get the crit strike chance right there. That felt like the best for me. The Rite of Prayer is super good. This gets you stacks of resolve and heals you. And so Defiance is just very strong for that. Plus you get armor and resistances every time you press it. And then over here, I went for Rite of Judgment, which allows Holy Lights active to judge enemies, and then it reduces the cooldown per rank. So if you want to put more ranks in this, you can drop that cooldown, and then you can just use this for judging stuff really quickly all around you. So it might actually be worth putting even more points into this, really dropping that cooldown. We can even see how much it drops. A little bit. I was hoping it'd be a little bit more. But dropping the cooldown down, because you're going to be spamming this just to get Judgment on everything around you. And then we do go into Renewal, which just blocking fortifies you for your max life. Just a nice way to get fortified. Over here, we are running Rally, and we're going to Words of Sacrifice. This makes it not cost faith, and instead it will cost life, but we regen life really fast, and it generates faith and move speed. Very nice for easy spamming. Otherwise, you can use it to reduce all active Justice skill cooldowns if you wanted. Over here for Words of Inspiration. Or you can have it generate more faith and gain 1 additional charge and become a charges thing for using it. But I really like just having it be life. Easy way to regen your faith. But, the other ones do have some potential thoughts. Reducing Justice skill cooldowns by 3 isn't bad. If you're going to use more of the other ones like Purify and stuff, right? So we could go into Purify right here. You can see its cooldown's reduced and it judges enemies. So if we were to go and take that, which honestly I might consider that as something right here. Purify generates that and it judges enemies. So 2.5 second cooldown. And it's going to judge everything around. And as we saw before, the more we can judge enemies, the more that's going to just deal increased damage, right? Because the judgments are also exploding. So we're going there. We are maxing out, these guys, if I forgot to say them. Righteousness for increased holy damage. I do have a point into Dizzying Blow. But I will take that out actually and put it over here. I forgot to move a couple pieces around. We are going to Cracking the Armor and High Charity. Both of these are really good. And then crit strike damage, critically striking, grants you damage reduction, versus weakened and healthy right there. And then Master Craftwork, Shining Armor, and Giant Slayer. I was playing a little bit with Heaven's Fury, but I just didn't like it enough. It judged enemies, which is what I liked, but it didn't feel like the damage was doing enough right there, so we were off of that. And then lastly, Consuming Judgment increases your damage by 6% for 5 seconds up to 90%. Judgment now spreads to nearby targets without Judgment when it detonates. So it's actually funny. I was playing around with the wrong key passive there. So this is really nice because this is going to just expand it all around, right? Again, we want Judgment explosions, and we want it to keep spreading and exploding over and over and over again. So the longer we can just keep things judged, the better. In our Paragon, the boards we have are Castle, first board. Castle's just amazing. Just 1.8% of your armor. I have 923% current bonus right there. That's just disgustingly good, right? Just like tons and tons of armor is just really good. You want as much armor as you can get. Then we're going into Sentencing right here, which judging an enemy causes them to take more damage until they die. Obviously works well with our build. Then we have Endure. You deal 90% increased damage while fortified, and we're going to be fortified pretty much all the time. Shield Bearer, you deal increased damage equal to 110% of your block chance. I do want to get this up to 110%, so I'll need to put a couple nodes in for that. And those are our boards right there. For our glyphs, I'm using Apostle. Why am I using Apostle? Okay, well, we'll go through this way. Oh, no. We have Judicator over here. I haven't fully leveled this one up yet. I'm just kind of like working through leveling these ones for the Justice build. So I'm leveling Judicator skills and glyphs right now. So that one's not fully up yet. We have Canny, which is increasing non-physical damage, which is good for us. We have Apostle, which I need to remove and put in... where was the one I wanted there? We'll get back to it in a second. We have Law, so increased damage. I guess for now I'll just put in boost to the magic nodes. That's not even good right there. This one would actually be decent for magic nodes with armor. It's okay, actually. So I'm like damage. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take diminish out from there. We're gonna put resplendence in here. And that's disciple skills, that's arbiter wings, and you can go here. Just realized my glyphs weren't set fully. Okay, so this diminish is just bonus to the rare nodes, so yeah, not bad, right? There's gonna be a better one that we can put in there for sure. And it'll be one for, I mean, I guess I do want for strength, because I have a lot of strength in there. Oh, but it's disciple skills. Oh, wait. Here we go. So, like, turf would be good. Strength purchased, you deal increased damage to close targets. Increased damage while healthy would be fine for imbiber. Honed would be fine there. We want exploit would be good. Challenger's always fine at the end. And spirit is great, right? Just for willpower to increase crit. So, yeah, I don't have the perfect glyphs for this setup yet. So that is the one thing. I'll have a guide down below that does have it set even better. So just keep an eye out for that. Best thing I can say. But this is actually not bad right here for the added damage. So I will have that there. But that gives you the general sense of what we've got in the tree right there. I'm just going to put this in here for now as a general thing. So, yeah, that is the Paragon. Again, we'll have a better Paragon in the written guide. But I've kind of gone through the glyphs that I'd like. And these are the ones that I like. Overall, I'm focusing on just like damage and armor for a lot of it, right? Just judgment, damage, armor, all of that is going to be your main focus. For the gear, I have Shaco right now. Looking for something with cooldown reduction and armor and life is probably good, and strength, right? I'd kind of like look around at those. So, you know, even if you just have a helm like this, okay, it's got some cooldown reduction and strength. I could re-roll the shield charge to something else, and that'd be a pretty solid helmet right there that I could then do some stuff with, right? So that would be good there. I'm also wearing Tyrael's Might. Again, these are some mythics. I don't expect everybody to have mythics. You don't need to have mythics. You can just wear, you know, some other chesty that's going to just have life on. Oh, that's a helmet. But like life and armor, and that'll be good enough. And there's some nice aspects as well. We'll go over the aspects in a second. Here you go. These are pants, whatever. You know, you can find a decent armor. Life, armor, strength, easy stuff. So I'm just wearing Tyrio's Might because, again, that's what I have and it's solid enough. For some gloves, again, you really want to be getting, this has plus to core skills. It's only got +1, which is unfortunate. So I would love if I had a higher core skills glove, but otherwise it does have nice, strength and life on it. And so these gloves are like medium. This is my worst piece of gear for sure, but they do okay. And then I'm putting, we'll go through aspects in a second. Again, pants, strength, life, armor, max life there, all good. Looking for armor here as well with move speed, strength, and max life. These boots are pretty solid, actually. So we like that. We're using the Herald's Morningstar, of course. This has plus to Blessed Hammer, chance for Blessed Hammer to deal double damage, chance there to be an extra Blessed Hammer. Blessed Hammer deals increased damage. It just has everything for Blessed Hammer. So you're going to want Herald's Morningstar. If you don't have that, you can still use some imprinted weapon that you have somewhere. Let me see if I have like a decent one. I mean, it's okay. You can still find like a weapon and imprint it with something. Look for just like life and damage, vulnerable damage. Like this isn't bad, but this will really kind of help increase that Blessed Hammer damage. You do want to get a Herald's Morningstar, and thankfully it's not too rare of a unique, so it shouldn't be too bad. For an amulet, I've just got damage, attack speed, life, and strength. Pretty simple right there. Seal of the Second Trumpet is also very helpful. Again, not too hard of a unique to get, but it has Judgment, deals a bunch of increased damage, and chance for Judgment to deal double damage. So because we're judging everything, this is just good. It also has a chance for Judgment to explode twice. So you will want to get this ring. If you can't get this ring, I mean, there are other nice rings. Look for, stuff that's just got damage, crit strike damage, critical strike chance, like, life, strength, those things. Again, the guide will have kind of a list of all the good affixes. I also have a Ring of the Starless Skies. This is nice with those plus core skills, but I actually have debated kind of swapping back and forth to, something with Utmost Glory, or putting on, just a different ring. I think I had another ring I really liked somewhere in here. Maybe this one? Yeah, this one's pretty good. So, crit strike chance, crit strike damage, max life and strength. And then, you can have a nice imprint on it as well with the aspect. So this could even be better than the Ring of Starless Skies. I'd have to do more testing. But again, you don't need to have this mythic unique. And lastly, Hawes. Hawes is just great. We get the plus core skills. You get the increased strength and resistance and armor. There's plus to armor within it. It's just solid. You're going to want to have a Hawes. If you don't have a Hawes, there's still, again, nice imprints that you can put on. You do want to get plus armor on a shield and max life and, what you can there. But Hawes is definitely where you want to get for every paladin build. You're going to pretty much want to have that. For the aspects, really you're just looking at all of these Judgment ones. Judgment detonations can detonate early, detonate other ones early, and increases the damage. Gain, armor for your pants. This will let you gain up to, in this case, 136% armor. Really nice. And you're going to have high block as well and armor, so that's just fantastic. Just the simple, warlord right here of pulling enemies in for slightly increased damage. That's always an easy one if you want to have that. Judicator skills deal increased damage against enemies affected by Judgment. Of course, the enemies are going to be affected by Judgment that we're fighting. And then increased damage and size of Judgment explosions can also be nice. So really, you'll just kind of play around with those ones. The one that I didn't like that I tried was the chaining one. I don't think it actually worked with the hammer. You can ignore that. But yeah. Otherwise, I'm using Igni Gar right here. So whenever you cast an unbasic skill, you gain crit chance. We have hammers, so you know, those are non-basic skills. So we're just going to gain crit chance very easily from that. And then I have Seer Ohm to get Warcry, increasing your damage. But you could also look at other things, you know, depending on what runes you have. Really, you just want stuff that's going to get you offering very quickly. So, you know, I can look at Travel 5 meters from Bach. That's really simple. Cast a skill with the cooldown. We're casting all of our auras pretty often. And then Hammer doesn't have a cooldown, but between the auras and then the Purify, we're going to be casting stuff pretty often. So that would also not be bad. And then Gar is always a good base. And, you know, you can look at just kind of these other pieces of whatever stuff if you want something else to go. But I'll give some rune suggestions as well in the written guide. Mercenary, here's what I have. Just Ground Slam Bastion through to Inspiration. You know, you can use a lot of things, but this allows for, you know, Ground Slam to make them take increased damage. So I think that's, you know, totally fine. Divine Gifts, I'm running Lies, Squalor, Screams, and Sin. If you want to switch Pain and Squalor, you can. I just really like the Experience Globes and the Hell Tides. They are very helpful for leveling up a little bit more. So I think that's really nice. Otherwise, this one allows you to gain maximum barrier after getting injured, which is very nice. So Pain, you know, can fit in there. So that's my combos through that. Gems, rubies, and armor. Emerald in your weapon, diamonds in your rings, which that's a good reminder to go ahead and do that. And then, you know, I'm looking to add Judicator damage is what I'm kind of focusing on for a lot of the stuff where I can. So just adding Judicator damage on all of these things for a little bit of extra damage. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else am I missing, if anything. It goes through all that, the Oath, the skills. That's kind of the build. Like I say, it plays pretty well. I think getting into the 90s in the pit, totally easy. It could maybe even go a little bit higher. I mean, characters that can, you know, run pit up to almost level 100 there are pretty A to S tier, I feel like. So pretty dominant character. There's still plenty of room. And like I said before, I'm doing this with some, you know, I have some Paragon nodes that are still being leveled up, Judicator and stuff. And I'm probably going to go back for Spirit and change it up. So my glyphs aren't even like really well set and perfect here. So, you know, this character is dominant already without even having these things fully set. But I will have a more fully set written guide with those pieces down there for you on Icy Veins. But yeah, that is the character. I hope that you enjoy the Hammerden. Don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody.